All right, we are back with our live series, and today I'm excited about our special guest. I am only interviewing visible CEOs. So she is the visible CEO in women's wellness and is a midlife mojo expert. And I know that you are going to get so much value from her today. So let's welcome the one and only Kat D'Onofrio. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Chrissy. Thanks so much. And it's a good thing there is only one of me.
Hey, and I didn't get tongue tied on the midlife mojo, so I think that's great.
Good job.
And I would love just to you do a brief intro of you. Tell my audience who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into this interview because I know they're going to learn so much from you today.
Okay. So, as Chrissy said, I'm Kat D'Onofrio. I am a women's wellness coach, and I focus primarily on working with women who are 40 and over to help you navigate through the wonderful world of perimenopause and beyond. And I guide women both from a physical symptoms aspect, how to be physically healthier, as well as around the whole mindset of aging and getting older and making it all not such a taboo topic. So that's really who I am, I guess, in a
So,
nutshell.
what inspired you? Because we got to admit, menopause, women aging is such like a taboo topic that what we didn't even start doing research on menopause till like very recently. And
Yes.
so I would love to know what got you into this. Like what inspired you to take this as a topic and really put it out there and start serving and supporting women?
Um, I guess it's been kind of just my own journey with my own health over the years. And, as I am getting older and I've kind of gone through the various stages of menopause to where I'm in postmenopause myself now. I've lived through the trials and tribulations of it, hearing so many other women and their complaints and their frustrations. And more and more hearing so many women just feeling like this is kind of the end of the road or the beginning of the end anyway, right? And the fact of the matter is we're living so much longer. We're living to be 80, 90. We're going into menopause 40s, 50s. So if that's the beginning of the end, I mean, if you really think about that, you're really at the midway point. You've got a whole nother life essentially to live. I like to call it my second 50. I'm in my
Yeah.
second 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why are so many women just sitting around essentially waiting to die or sitting around just wondering like who they are now that their kids are grown up and don't need them so much, now that they're seeing their own parents aging and having so many health issues and just thinking, oh my gosh, that's what I have in store for me, I might as well just give up now. And there's so much we can do to truly thrive in this half of our life. So I just, for some reason, it became my mission.
And I think there is this, I don't know if it's a stigma or just the way, but even like when I was younger, every problem I had when it came to, you know, my monthly period, it's just the way it is. And I think that's the way that people think with menopause. Well, hot flashes and being cranky and all these other this just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Like it's like settle. Like don't expect any more. Don't expect it to be better. And I would love you to chat about that a little bit because I think we're so conditioned to be like, oh, it's just the way it is. I'm going through menopause. This is the way I am now, that we are just not exploring other opportunities and other avenues because we just think that's the way it is supposed to be.
Right. And we come by that whole thinking honestly because it comes from advertising and media. It comes from our own parents and other elders that have gone before us, right? It comes from our doctors who they don't know the answers. So their response is, that's just how it is. Live with it, deal with it. Here's an antidepressant. That's a big one right now.
Yeah.
That so many people, women are just getting prescribed antidepressants because they have all these menopause symptoms and feelings around it, and it's like, oh, it's all in your head. So yeah, we're hit left and right with that kind of mindset, but thankfully, I'm seeing more and more pockets of people like myself that are learning and understanding more and more that there really can be so much more. And so kind of my mission, in addition to, working one-on-one with women and improving their health, is just to communicate out to as many women as I possibly can, to get that word out that there is so much more. But it's a choice. It's a choice that you have to make, that you're going to take control of your life and you're going to do the work to make your life what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Or you can sit on your couch for the next 20 years or whatever and just be miserable, but don't come to me and complain.
Exactly, exactly. So what's a big misconception about menopause that's like such an like a shift in diet or a shift in something that you do that can drastically change those symptoms that you're experiencing?
Um, so I guess what it is that, again, it's that whole mindset of it, either that's just how it is,
Mhm.
or here's some medication to try to mask your symptoms. When there really are simple things that we can do to help either lessen or even avoid a lot of the symptoms that many women experience.
Yeah.
And I wish I had known some of these things when I was going through some of it, because really I'm learning. I've learned a lot of the stuff on the back end. Like, I went through all the years of sitting in meetings with all men, because I work in tech.
Yeah.
And, I'm sitting in a room full of men, and suddenly I have sweat pouring down my face. And it's like, okay, I know these guys don't have a clue what's going on, and they're going to
Ah,
think I'm weak. They're going to think, it's the embarrassment, and then you become embarrassed, and then that makes the symptoms even worse. So anyway, I went through all that, and now I realize, from my education and just following so many brilliant people who have finally taken the time to do the studies and all of that, that simple things like, oh, let's see, when I was in menopause, I was probably drinking a fair amount of alcohol because it was just the thing to do. It was the social thing to do.
yeah.
And guess what? That exacerbates symptoms.
Mhm.
So, do you have to 100% give it up if you like to go out occasionally with friends and have a glass of wine or whatever? No. But take a look and be mindful about just how much you're drinking, how much processed food you're eating. I hate to tell the spicy women out there this, but spicy foods exacerbate menopause symptoms like hot flashes. So if you're going to eat the spicy foods, then be mindful. You're going to continue having the hot flashes. Maybe try to back off that a little bit. But it really is, there's simple things you can do. Exercise is huge for helping with menopause symptoms. But we just got to do those things. We got to be consistent. We got to be mindful about it.
Yeah. And another thing that I know that you're really passionate about is, I mean, obviously, menopause is part of aging as well, but part of the aging process for women. And again, it's one of those things that I think that we've settled that, I'm supposed to hurt when I get up in the morning. I'm supposed to, not have the energy that I have. Can you speak on that a little bit? Because again, it's one of those things I feel like we're settling with, because as we get older, but we've seen proof that there are 90-year-old women who still run and do amazing, beautiful things, and they don't look 90 years old.
Exactly. They don't look, they don't act it. And a lot of it has to do around the mindset and just your willingness or not to accept that fate.
Yeah.
Um, and doing the mindful things in your day to day that will either help you age well or not. And, there's actually been identified essentially a list of things that will accelerate aging in your body and
Mhm.
things that will decelerate aging in your body. And just being aware of those things and seeing where you fit as far as, how many of the accelerants do I do? And
Oh,
can I back off some of those? Because it really isn't the number of years in your life, it's the amount of life in your years.
yes.
So, and we're living to 80, 90. I mean, we're seeing more and more people hit that century mark in their
Mhm.
lives.
Yeah,
And do you want to spend the last 20, 30, 40 even years of that life being in a wheelchair, being hooked up to oxygen, taking 5, 6, 7 medications a day to deal with the 3, 4, or 5 different health conditions that you're dealing with?
yeah,
Um, or do you want to stay as active as you can? And the way to do that is to be mindful about those things that accelerate or decelerate. And it's anything from um, taking the food you eat and be mindful about, eating much more of the whole unprocessed foods, eating lots of leafy greens, to how much sleep are you getting?
yeah.
Um, Things like, even, do you do any activities that you actually enjoy? Do you pursue hobbies or something that actually feels more like play and brings you joy in your life? Do you have good social connections, or do you spend most of your time alone? All of those things come into play when it comes to healthy aging or not. And that's one of the things I offer as part of my practice is um, taking a client through a blueprint of those aging accelerators and decelerators, and seeing where are you today, and where are some areas that we can work on to help you prolong your vitality so you can do all the things that you want to do.
I love that. That's so cool because I've seen this tool in action, but it is such a great tool because, again, you can almost grade yourself, right? And
Mhm,
see
exactly.
where, and even like choosing, like, I know I'm going to do this today, which is going to decelerate. So, or going to take my point system down. So,
Right.
what can I do over here to bring it up? Right?
Yeah.
It's really about balance, right?
It's absolutely about balance. And it's about, like I've always said, I kind of try to live by the 80-20 rule. If 80% of the time I'm doing like all the right things, I'm eating well, et cetera. If, 10 or 20% of the time I'm thoughtfully making choices to do things that might not be the healthiest, I'm still doing well overall
Yeah.
for my body, for my health, for my happiness.
Right. So, what would you say to someone that says, I've done nothing but abuse my body. I've done all the wrong things so many years. I'm too far gone.
I don't think it's ever too late to improve your future outcomes. Um, sure, you may have, and I'm not saying that at a certain point, if you've truly, like, really, really abused your body, that you can absolutely go back to day zero and 100% undo everything you've ever done bad.
Right.
But you can certainly stop the progression of whatever negative impacts you're having on your body currently, and you can reverse things as well. um so even if you can prolong your health span by a few years starting today, isn't it worth it? I mean, the alternative seems a heck of a lot worse.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't care if you're 20, I don't care if you're 40, I don't care if you're 70. You can always make improvements in what you're doing. We're all, I mean, it's a journey. Life is a journey. Wellness is a journey.
Yeah.
And we're all just striving to do a little bit better every day. And it does have a compound effect, I believe.
Yeah, and I think our bodies are like amazing, like they're amazing. The things that they can do, the things that you can turn around, like the things that you can change. And I think the thing is like little small shifts, like, oh my God, I have more energy today. Oh my gosh, I didn't
Mhm.
hurt as bad today. Like that can change your whole rest of your life. And the thing is we have so much life left to live if
Right.
we choose, right? It's kind of like that
Yes.
quality, right? Do you want to be popping pills for the rest of your life and that's pretty much your diet? Or do you want to do things that can lessen that? Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to completely be able to stop that, but having more life and feeling that energy is like priceless,
It
even if it's just a
absolutely.
little bit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm all for making whatever changes we can make at any point, um, and having a better outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the things that I think has been very interesting in your journey and talking about menopause and aging is really getting this out there. Like you're making these two taboo words, right? Because we're not supposed to talk about our menopause system or symptoms, and we're supposed to go get Botox and all these things to stay looking young, even though we might feel like crap. But you're like bringing these to the spotlight. Like, tell me a little bit about how it's been received, like getting these two topics more visible.
It's funny. It's when I do, like, if I'm in groups of people or even talking one on one to somebody and bring up this subject, it's like, oh my God, yes, finally, somebody that is like speaking about these things that is letting us know it's not taboo. It's just a part of life, just like we went through puberty when we were teenagers, right? And that felt pretty horrible too. But it was a transition to becoming adults,
Yeah.
right? Well, menopause is just kind of like puberty's spicy older sister. And
I
she
love
can
it.
be pretty spicy sometimes, right?
That's good.
But it's just again another transition. It's a transition period into a next level of our lives. And again, the more I read and research and just listen to other people, um, what I'm finding is it's a very much an American taboo kind of topic. You look
Mm,
in other cultures, and menopause is considered a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful transition for women. And
yeah.
I came upon this word the other day, and it's the Japanese word for menopause. And the word is kaneki.
Connecting.
And basically, what it means is renewal season. What if we thought of menopause as our renewal season instead
Yeah.
of the
In
beginning of
what?
the end? Which
Yes.
one sounds better, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they look at it as a time of reinvention, a time of self-discovery for women. I mean, that sounds absolutely amazing, right? Why aren't we as American women, taking that mindset and running with it? Imagine what we could still do in our lives, still make out of our lives, still contribute to the rest of the world if we had that kind of a mindset as opposed to, oh, this is horrible. Is this how life is going to be, for the next whatever many years? Um, and just being angry and frustrated about it.
Well, and it's like that expectation too. If you expect that it's going to be horrible, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not going to just magically be amazing. If you expect that it's just going to be horrible all the time, it really goes back to that mindset. And, I talk about this a lot. And 20% of our business is strategy, 80% is mindset. Like it's that
Yeah.
way in fitness and health too. And I'm sure it's that way in aging and
Mhm.
menopause. If you literally think I'm just going to continue to be miserable and blah, 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 you're not magically just going to start feeling great.
No, you're absolutely not. Whatever you think, whatever you focus on is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It kind of ties a little bit, and a lot of people think it's woo woo, and maybe it is a little bit, but the whole like law of attraction. It's
Hmm.
like what we focus on, even if we don't like what we're focusing on, if we're focused on the negatives, that's what's going to happen. We're drawing that energy into our lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously menopause and a lot of the symptoms women have, it's not a bouquet of roses, right? I mean, there are definitely tough days, there are tough moments, but again, there are physically things you can do holistically to help with that. um, Mindset matters so much, and having I think, a sense of community around,
Mhm.
just normalizing it and being able to talk to someone about it, which is, again, something else that's like keeps coming up in my mind and coming up the more I talk to other women is, um, how do I build some sort of a community that women can come to, can
Mhm.
engage in, um, can feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
Because again, in their own little circles, in their families, whatever, they may or may not feel comfortable talking about what they're going through.
Yeah.
But we feel so much better when we can talk about these things. So, how do I give them a place to do that? So, don't have the answer there yet, but just kind of putting it out there.
Yeah, and I think community is important, which you do have a free community that
I
they
do.
can
I do
join,
have a free community, yes, on Facebook.
which would be like a safe space that they can talk about it, and I think I love some of the content that you've even done that really just, makes light of it versus this heavy thing that we all think about. And, that's one of the positives about you willing to get out there, get visible, and talk about it because you're showing other people it doesn't have to be this heavy, dramatic, awful thing. Like we
Right.
can actually create community from it. We can actually learn from each other. We can actually find ways to alleviate some of these symptoms that we're experiencing, and life can still go on.
Yeah. I can still go on and be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and even being like sitting here talking to you about it and some of the other, groups I've been in and talking on this subject. I mean, it's not easy for me either. I mean, I'm an introvert. I don't like to draw attention to myself necessarily, but
Yeah.
um, I'm passionate enough about this topic, and it I can't even explain what it makes me feel like inside when I am listening to other women, whether it's I'm in, live in a group of people, just talking about it, or even some of the online groups I'm in with, women that are of a certain age, right? And hearing just the angst, the frustration, um, the desolation. I mean, it's just it literally hurts my heart, and I know that sounds like an exaggeration,
No.
but oh my god, I mean, even these people that I don't know really that well, that we're just happen to be in a group together, I'm just like, "Oh my god, I just want to shake you, and I want to, like, do say something to make you realize that this is not your fate."
Right.
So that means I have to, like, talk about it more, get in front of more people. Um, and I have to thank you for helping me do that because I don't know, 5 years ago, if you had told me I would be going in front of groups of people and talking about anything, let alone getting older, I would have told you were crazy. So,
Well, I mean, you also do a lot of in-person, networking groups and things like that. When you talk about this on social media, it also relates there because people are like, "I know what she does and who she is, and I know I can talk to her because
mhm,
she's so open about this," right? Like,
right,
people feel comfortable coming to you and asking you these questions because you're willing to get uncomfortable and
right,
talk about the stigma that nobody wants to bring out. And all of my clients have beautiful impacts that they make. And this one is one of those, right? Every woman is going to experience something that comes with menopause, right?
yep,
We're not going to get skipped. It's
yep.
like Ava will never have wisdom teeth, which is the most crazy thing. She will go through menopause, right? That is not one thing that you're going to magically skip
If you
over.
have or had at one time in your life a uterus, you will go
Yeah,
through menopause.
right,
Because the
right.
other topic, which we're not even going to go there today, because that's a whole nother topic, is people who have transitioned genders.
Yeah,
And we don't even know necessarily what that's going to look like for some of these people.
yeah,
But you can guarantee that the hormones were there. If the plumbing was ever there, then
yeah,
there's going to be effects. And how do we best get through that?
yeah. Yeah, there's so many things. But the thing is like you getting visible, you making an impact, even through your daily content, to connect with people and help them feel seen and heard, I think is one of the most beautiful things. And it's why I obviously preach and teach and try to brainwash my audience of get visible, because it's so important. And again, it's not always
It's just so
easy.
scary.
Right. It's not easy for us as introverts. I think a lot of my clients are introverts, and it's not easy for us, especially to talk about taboo topics like
Yeah.
this one, right? One that our doctors don't even know about, like my doctor, we'll figure out when you're going to go through menopause and take you off birth control because, the surgery you had, I mean, it's just like, what? We already know this is crazy, right? And I know
Yeah.
I feel comfortable talking to you about this because this is you. This is what you do. And you're helping other people feel so much more comfortable to talk about it too. And I think bringing the awareness creates an impact, creates different lives, right? People can change
Yeah.
their lives from this by learning just little tweaks and little things that they can do. It's not like, I don't know if you ever saw the Sex and the City where they go to Dubai and Samantha takes like this suitcase of all these creams and essential oils and all this, and they get taken away from her, but it looks like this whole regimen that she does. Like,
Oh my
it's not that. It's not that. I'm sure
God.
those things can help, but that's not what you need to do to create a natural approach to getting through menopause. And so
Right.
again, you get to educate people where we've seen things like that on TV, and where we've seen things like only taking, was it hormone replacement therapy? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's hormone HRT or
Yeah.
B.
So like doing things like that, that's what we only think we can do. And I think you have so
And I
many.
will say I am a proponent for
Yeah,
hormone replacement
absolutely.
therapy where it's necessary. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have resources that can help people. And that's why one of the things about you getting visible is important, because
Yeah.
you have these resources and you can help them. And when you work with people one on one, that even gives you a better opportunity to say, oh, I see you. Like, I see you. I see what you're going through right now. Let's chat about that. Because I'm assuming every person is different when it comes to menopause, and every
Yeah.
person has different things that they get to change.
Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. I mean, there's, 300 potential symptoms, for example, that women can go through in menopause.
Okay, that's
Um,
insane. I didn't know that.
it is insane. And some of them are things that we don't even think about as being related to menopause. But yes, but any woman at any time can go through any combination of those symptoms,
Yeah.
right? And again, her lifestyle, up into and into that point of her life impacts that. So yeah, you've got to take into account, and a lot of people will talk about genetics, and unfortunately, a lot of people try to fall back on that. Well, it's in my genes. Um, I will tell you that, and this was an interesting thing I read recently, not specifically to menopause, but to aging. And we talk about Alzheimer's, and everybody, I mean, who isn't afraid to get Alzheimer's, right? I mean, that's just
Yeah.
a horrible thing to have to go through, and it's a horrible thing for our families. Um, and there is a gene that the doctors can test for to see if you have it that considers you to be a higher risk for getting Alzheimer's. But there have been studies done evaluating people with Alzheimer's and looking at what percentage of them have that gene. And in the studies that have been done, only 4% of the people that have been studied that have actually gotten Alzheimer's had the gene.
Yeah.
So it's not just our genes,
Yeah.
because there's a lot more people that have the gene and haven't gotten Alzheimer's, and then there's all these people that have gotten Alzheimer's that don't have the gene. So
Right.
the other thing, and luckily the thing that is in our control, unlike genes, is our lifestyle. So
Yeah. And we all have the power to shift that.
yes,
And
it's in our control. Absolutely.
we may not know, right? But that's why you connect with people like with people like Kat, so that she can help you, give you that plan and that roadmap of what to do, and give you the accountability to shift and change that. So if someone wanted to work with you one on one,
Mhm.
how could they do that?
If someone wants to work with me one-on-one, I'd say the best way to do that is to simply book a call with me, a complimentary consultation,
Mhm.
where we can just sit down and talk about where you are, what your what your concerns are, what you're looking or hoping to accomplish, and talk about how I can help you. I mean, I have a number of different ways that I can work with a client one-on-one.
Yeah,
Again, I mean, it's somewhat packaged, but at the same time, it's also individualized by who are you, where are you in your life, what is it that you feel you need, and
yeah,
let's figure out what that looks like working together.
yeah. I love
So
I love that. And again, I appreciate you, you know, talking about this and getting visible about this because it brings up so much. And one of the things that we're doing the week of the 16th is we're helping your business, whoever you are watching this, get visible, help you become the visible CEO of your industry, just like Kat is becoming or is the visible CEO of menopause and aging and really being that wellness expert for so many women who whether they're going through menopause or they're not happy with the way that they're aging and they need support or they just want to have like a full life. Like you just want to have a full life. You want to have that quality instead of the quantity, right? Just you can have both, obviously, but you are such a gift. And again, if you chose not to show up and if you chose to be quiet about this or you chose not to be vocal about this and visible about this, there would be so many people that you'd be doing a disservice to. And so I appreciate the fact that you're willing to put yourself out there with the taboo subject, with things that people have preconceived notions about, and really help shift the dynamic and shift their mindset and shift for them to see what's possible. It's not what you think. It's not what you've been told and what you've been basically lied to about from the medical industry for years, like, and people who didn't know, obviously your family and things like that, because we don't know until we know, right? And then once we know, so if you watch this video, you now know that it doesn't have to be the way you've been told it has to be. And so what's the next step? You reach out to Kat. You find a way to work with her, whether it's one-on-one. She has a lot of like lower cost programs and things you can DIY yourself. But again, you now know that you don't have to live this way. And so I want to challenge you watching this live or the replay. What are you going to do about it? Right? Are you going to reach out to Kat, start following Kat? Because she's going to give you a lot of free resources just on her page, right? And then when you make the decision, I'm ready for more and I'm ready to change this and I don't want to live like this anymore. That's when you say, give me what you got.
right, exactly. And I'm here, ready, willing, and able. So
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to share before we let everyone go enjoy their Saturday?
um no, I mean, I think we've covered it all. I mean, it's again, to your point, anyone watching this, now know that there is hope, there are options, there's opportunity. So what are you going to do with that information? And whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, I just highly, highly, highly encourage you to get the guidance that you need to make your second 50 your best 50.
That's a good tagline.
It is, isn't it? I'll have to use that
It
again.
doesn't have to be a midlife crisis,
No,
right? It
it
doesn't
does.
have to be at all. It can be what did you say the Japanese was it Japanese
The
called?
Kanenki is, yeah, it's basically a renewal season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It can be your renewal season. Doesn't that sound amazing? That sounds so bougie. Like
it
let's
does,
go into
doesn't
our
it?
renewal season.
I think I'm gonna get a t-shirt. I'm in my renewal season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Kat, thank you so much for joining me today on this live and helping make menopause and aging and getting it more visible and helping my audience be more aware of that and what you do and how you can support them. And also, we have the Become the Visible CEO free program coming up. The link is in the comments if you want to join us for that. It's a week that I'm going to take you through and really help you become the visible CEO of your industry, just like Kat and all the other interviews that we're doing. And here's the thing. I am not gatekeeping in this program. No matter what your industry is, no matter if you think your industry is taboo, right? Like we've been told about menopause and aging, it doesn't have to be that way. And you are doing a disservice if you choose not to put it out there, the ways that you can serve and support your audience. So I'm so thankful and grateful that Kat has done that, because she is going to change so many lives. And I love that I get a front seat to be able to watch that unfold. And so make sure that you connect with Kat. When we are done with this live, I'll drop all the ways that you can connect with her, and reach out to her, follow her, like see the content on her page. I promise you that you're going to see a change and see what's possible by that. And then when you decide to work with her, that's when you take it to the next level. That's when you're like, I'm done with living my life this way. I'm ready for more. And so I cannot wait to see that happen for you. Thank you so much, Kat, for being with me today.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right.